Hi, so today I am going to share with you about the concept of double registration in the context of adverse possession or vice versa. Now, to understand this, you must know what is double registration. In a double registration means, in a simple layman terms, the same property is sold by one person or two persons to one person or two persons. There might be two vendors and two vendees, that is two sellers and two purchasers, or two sellers and one purchaser, or one seller and two purchasers. Anything can happen. The best way to understand double registration is by an illustration as follows. Imagine grandfather is selling an ancestral property wherein the son and grandson are also having the rights by birth. 20 years ago to a purchaser. Now the purchaser had constructed a house and is living there. But he is also enjoying the shares of the son and the grandson. Son knows about it because son was an adult, and the grandson also knows about it because he was also an adult or major. And now they kept quiet because the prices were very low, or they are very much in need of the consideration at that point of time. So they kept quiet. Now after 20 years, the land prices have shot up, and now they became greedy, and the son and the grandson sold the same property to another purchaser. Now the property is one, but there are two sellers and two purchasers. This is called double registration. Now one purchaser, or the first purchaser who purchased the piece of land from the grandfather, wherein the share of the grandson and the son is also available, and they also consented to the sale as witnesses at that point of time. If they play a game, what happens to that situation is one of the examples, many illustrations of double registration in the context of adverse possession, or adverse possession in the context of double registration. Now, the principles of double registration, as I had already told you, there should be an opening date and there should be a closing date, and it should be open, it should be continuous, and it should be peaceful. So there is no court case since 20 years. The first vendor knows that he sold the property. The first purchaser knows that he is the owner of the property. The entire neighborhood knows that the first purchaser is the owner of the property. The vendor and his son and grandson also knows that the purchaser is the owner of the property, or the purchaser is enjoying the property. The purchaser is having the title of the property. So technically, the correct title is not carried forward to the first purchaser, because if the father, grandfather and the grandson, if three sign, then only the title comes to the first purchaser. In the instant case, that was not done. So the title is not completely transferred to the first purchaser. Therefore, the first purchaser is in adverse possession. So the grandfather was dispossessed, the father was dispossessed, the grandson was dispossessed, and the purchaser came into possession. The possession is open, the possession is continuous, the possession is peaceful. There is an opening date, there is a closing date to the possession. Everybody in the neighborhood knows that the first purchaser is the owner, but in the eye of the law, he is not the owner of the property. He is the owner of the property, or he got title to the property by way of adverse possession. So when the second purchaser goes to court, along with the son and the grandson, goes to court and files a suit against the first purchaser has every chance of getting that property through the concept of adverse possession. Hope I'm clear. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you have any doubts, kindly comment.